Hey everybody, it is Brooke. Just coming in a little bit early before the episode starts. We wanted to make a couple changes to the episode, and I want to warn you guys. I do tell a story at the end of this episode about a short film I was in. We've kind of prepped it in a previous episode, and I do love this story. But in thinking about it after the fact, we kind of remembered what the internet is like, so we're gonna go ahead and be bleeping his name, and, we're gonna try and do as much legwork as possible to make it so that it's hard to find the actual short film, and I know in the episode it's gonna sound like we're encouraging you to find it. Please don't, and if you do happen across it, please don't, make it a thing. Of all the episodes that we have, I really want this one to not go viral. And don't be mean to him. It was his first shot at a short film, and everybody sucks when they start. Just don't be mean. Be cool. Enjoy the story though, because I think it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Okay, enjoy the episode. We're gonna talk about, well, you'll see. Alright. Whatever.
What keeps you awake at
Bye.
night?
Sea levels are rising globally.
Fears fueled by horror stories.
Among the worst flu season in a decade, and it hasn't peaked yet.
We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous.
Another series of deadly terror attacks.
Because you know that thing your brain does in the middle of the night? This crazy thing where it takes a small problem and it just makes it enormous?
I guess you and I have both had a pretty shit week this week, huh?
The weekend was, I think, the thing that really sealed it for me.
Yeah,
I've been laid up completely with a stomach flu for the last 3 days, and I was convinced I had Giardia. Utterly convinced that I had somehow contracted it from my cat, which is, almost impossible. So, there's that.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, have been studying for a standardized test, and it'd be really funny because I turn off my phone on airplane mode, I'm going to say a good 80% of the day, because I have absolutely no self-control whatsoever. So all of my electronics are firewalled, and everything that I could communicate with people with is uninstalled.
Holy shit.
Because I have, again, no self-control.
Right. Yeah.
So, I'll walk in maybe every 2 hours and, check updates on my phone as, separate from the fog, and it would be oh man, yeah, I'm feeling not so great. I think I got the stomach flu.
Oh, God.
Time elapses. So, do you think I got Giardia for my cats? And I'm like, hey, is that common? And you're like, no, I Googled it. It's not. I would get the blips of updates.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Olivia, what if I have the flu? What if I didn't get my flu shot in time? And you were like, do you have respiratory symptoms? And I was like, no. You were like, it's probably not the flu then. And it disappeared. And then, I went through 12 more iterations of what I thought I had. And you were like, dude, it's probably just a stomach bug. And I was like, no! I'm dying, goddammit! I have fucking meningitis!
I think I sent you, I think it's just the stomach bug after you've already concluded that it was the stomach bug. Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, I think it's probably just a stomach bug. And you're like, yep.
Sure
Figured
is.
that out on my own Google search.
I think about the time that the diarrhea started, I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay, not the
fine.
flu.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not fine.
Not fine, but decidedly not dying of meningitis.
Oh, yeah.
That would be rough, huh?
Yeah, I had a friend that had meningitis.
My mother had meningitis.
Woof! How bad? Okay, so did you get viral or bacterial?
Viral, because it didn't kill her, so...
Well, no, bacterial is the one you can treat.
No, other
Isn't
way
it?
around. Well, so you can treat bacterial meningitis, but it's much more aggressive. Bacterial meningitis is what Jim Henson died of. Fun fact.
Oh.
Not so fun fact, I guess. It's a huge bummer. Anyway, meningitis. This is a weird energy to start the show with.
Well, okay, it's funny when I went to when I went to college. I guess I got the meningitis vaccine when I was a youth,
Yeah.
but I got the wrong brand, which I have a whole fucking whatever. And so I went in to like get it, fixed. I was like, yeah, just give me the other one. I have literally zero issues with vaccinations. So I walked in before I transferred and I was like, give me literally whatever you want me to take. I don't give a shit. And she's like, okay, well, it seems like you're due for the flu shot. I'm like, that's great. Get me the flu shot. And she's like, and we're going to need your meningitis thing checked. Do you want the meningitis support shot? And I was like, what is that? And she's like, well, it does have a couple strains that are not as common, but we offer it available if you would like to have that as well. And I was like, well, like, are they like super not common? And she went, they're not very common, but the effects can be devastating. And I'm like, okay, so I guess just add that.
One meningitis shot, please.
So I had 3 vaccinations in one day and then drove to LA because I had to do something. I think I had to pick up something or something. And on my hour and a half in, I was like, damn, 3 vaccines in a day is actually my limit.
Yeah, that's too much.
It was very spinny.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We're actually not talking about this at all today. We're talking about actors.
That's reductive, and I don't want to start this way. I don't want to start by like alienating an entire subset of people. We're not talking about actors. We're talking about our
actors. Sorry.
Olivia and I both have some fair experience with theater. I myself, as you perhaps know, went to college briefly for theater. And then I stopped going to college for theater. And Olivia went to OSHA. And if you don't know what that is, Olivia, if you please.
OSHA is a conservatory high school. So what that meant is that, let me fucking walk you through my fucking timeline. So I lived and grew up, born and raised in Dana Point. So I could have gone to Dana Hills High School.
Which is a beach city in South Orange County, just for everyone who doesn't live in South Orange County.
Fair. And so then I got into OSHA, which is a conservatory high school at 1 hour north of where I lived. So I would have to get up at 6 to either get on the train or start driving by about 6:45, 7 to get to school in time, to go to class from 8 to 1:30. That was our academic time. And then we'd have a break, and then we'd be in our conservatory arts classes from about, if I remember, we'd break at 1:30, so about 2:15 to 5 to 6 p.m. God. So then I got home at 7 or 8. So I was easily having like 12-hour days. And then, of course, I'd get home and it was like wildly academically competitive. Like when I graduated, if I remember correctly, there were 5 or 6 people that had 5.0s.
Jesus.
So like I'd come home and then I'd do homework until 1 in the morning and then go to sleep and do it all again.
And you did it for 4 years.
I did it for 4 whole ass years.
4 years.
Why?
That's
Why?
insane.
My first 2 years there, I did a conservatory program called Integrated Arts, where I did drawing, painting, writing,
where
dancing.
You sang, I Sing the Body Electric.
Did I?
You did. It was the only thing of yours I ever saw where you guys came out and sang like just the light in your eyes was gone as you sang I Sing the Body Electric.
I don't even know what that is even from, I'll be honest with you.
It's from Fame.
Is it?
A show in the 80s. It's insanity. I don't understand. Anyway.
So yeah, and then I switched to culinary arts, which was its own dumpster fire.
Yeah, talked a little bit about it.
And you know, it's so funny that you told me that, because I forgot that performance at all. The only thing that I remember about that performance is that I was in one of those like 4 chord songs, and I sang one of the parts of the song. I don't know. That's as specific as we're going to get, because
I sang one of the parts. Are you on drugs?
I feel like I'm doing a job interview and they were like, what's your previous experience? And I was like, oh, you know, I worked at In-N-Out. And they're like, what what were you responsible for? And I'm like, customer service.
I interacted with food. Oh my god.
Anyway, so this whole episode's about our experience in like arts and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, it's so funny. You said, let's do this. And the whole reason we're doing this, I'll be honest, is because Brooke has like literally one of my favorite stories on the face of the planet that she's going to be telling today.
Olivia
and so
just wants to hear it again.
I know. Oh, I love it. The first time you told this to me, I think I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
I mentioned this in the last episode that like we had been sort of disconnected for maybe 4 years when we went to high school because, you know, she was up north and I was in San Juan Capistrano and we just like didn't talk. So in college we reconnected and this was one of the first things that I decided to tell her about for God knows what reason.
Were we at Chipotle when you told me this?
Yeah.
Holy shit. It was our first meeting. I also recommended to you to watch like Last Podcast on the Left, which was such a fucking risk.
Yeah, it really was. And I remember when you told me, you were like, now I'm gonna warn you. It's a little, intense.
And you're like, I can handle that. And then you listen to it and you're like,
the fucking Toy Box Killer episode, and I was like, I see. Perfect.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's funny, as I was trying to bring back these memories, I realized how much of my high school career I have actually just completely blocked out.
No.
Because I messaged Valon, who went to school with me. She's a listener and she was also integrated with me, and she actually gave me some stories.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, question, do you remember anything? Because I don't. And she's like, well, there was that time when X, and I went, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And I was like, are you like 100% sure? And she's like, Olivia, that's like one of my most like memorable like moments with you. And I'm like, don't remember that at all. Or like people would be like, do you remember when we took that class? And I'm like, I took that class? And they're like, yeah, the teacher loved you. And I'm like,
good to know.
I just don't, it doesn't ring a bell.
No functioning memory of that at all.
Yeah, not even like bringing it back to me as people remind me. I'm like,
man.
I just don't think that was me. And they're like, what?
I'm pretty sure. You also had kind of an experience in high school. It was a different world for you.
I was on lithium in high school. I'm shocked I remember any of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you tell me stories from middle school. You're like, wow, do you remember that one time, this one memory that literally has stuck with me my entire life? And I went, I don't remember that at all. And you're like, Olivia, it's like, when I think of you, that's like the first thing I think of when I think of middle school. And I'm like, are you sure that was me though?
Honestly, these days, one of the only things I remember about middle school and you is you coming to school in full watermelon face paint and me thinking, unironically, that was the coolest thing that I had ever seen.
You know, I remember poking you directly in the eye. I looked at her, and she looked at me with full trust, and I just poked her directly in the eye, and you know why I remember that? I heard your eye squish. It made a squish.
No. Imagine this from my perspective, dear listeners of ours. I look at my friend who is just sitting quietly next to me, and I see her kind of squint just a little, and then raise her hand, and in one, not a fast, like, jabbing motion, in a slow, controlled, and purposeful movement, just insert her finger into my eye. Why didn't I move?
Oh my god, I'm sobbing, I'm crying. Oh my god. Anyway, that was in theater class too.
It was.
That was in Pat Banning's theater class. When I think that was 7th grade, because, 8th grade I played Belle in Beauty and the Beast and wore duct tape bracelets.
You did, and you refused to take them off, which is just iconic.
I still have those pictures.
Good.
Yeah.
You also played, like, the Queen or something in a weird rendition of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
In
Oh
which
my
I
god.
was forced to have a lisp, and it was really good.
My favorite part of that is I'd forgotten my lines on one of the really important scenes, and instead of like rolling with it, it was one of those you're like, man, I don't even remotely remember what this scene was about, and so I just staged me walking off early.
Oh my god.
Because I was like, let's just skip to the part where I'm not in here. And I was like, I'm outraged, and left. And I remember everyone on stage was like,
What the fuck is this? Of course, it's middle school, so everybody just stands there and shuffles their feet and hopes that no one notices.
oh man. Anyway, these aren't the stories that we're going to be telling. This was just a reminiscence.
Apparently they are. Yeah.
I wanted to start with maybe, how did you first get into theater?
To get attention. I'm not joking.
Oh my god, same. I'm so
Wow.
starved for attention.
What a fucking shocker. No, I was in first grade, and we had this thing, I guess, where my best understanding of it, because I was in fact a first grader, is that we would come to class and then we would learn and stuff, and then in the last 10 minutes before the bell rang to go home, we would clean up, and then one person who like volunteered would share something with the class while everybody else cleaned up. I don't know how the little stinker that like just stood there and talked got that job, but I was actually among these lucky golden few. And my decision, which mortifies me now, who the hell was this child, decided to sing Once Upon a December from Anastasia.
Oh my god.
She's got guts. I'll give her that.
I can't even sing that.
Right?
Holy shit.
And Olivia, by the way, has an incredible singing voice.
I'm just not a soprano, so that's way
yeah.
out of my scope of range.
Mind you, I was like 7.
That's like a soprano.
Yeah, I was 7, so I could pull that shit off, I guess. And it was apparently enough for the teacher of that class to approach the theater department, whatever it involved, I have no idea, it was an elementary school, and tell them that, like, hey, I have this girl who sang. Do you want her to audition for your rendition of fucking Alice in Wonderland?
Hey!
And they did. And they asked me to sing Happy Birthday, and this is one of the most
In
vivid...
Alice in Wonderland?
No,
oh,
the
no, it's your
audition.
audition.
Come on. Keep up, Olivia.
I'm like, wow, that's a really weird stage production of Alice in Wonderland, but alright.
It was a weird production of Alice in Wonderland. And to this day, I can find maybe one trace of, like, it existing on the internet. It is one of those things where, like, if you try to find it, you just come up empty-handed, because no one did it. So, yeah, they had me sing Happy Birthday, and this is one of the most vivid memories of probably my young life, where I tried to sing Happy Birthday because I was super nervous, and my voice cracked so thoroughly that they immediately were like, okay, thanks.
Oh no!
But I still was cast as Tweedledee, which that set me on the path of the garden path to hell, as they say, into the performing arts, which I never, ever, ever stopped doing after that.
Until you did.
Until I did, which was the best decision I ever made.
That's a fucking mood.
Yeah, so that's what it was for me. What was it for you?
So, my parents were both working parents, and they worked from home. So they essentially had to find ways to, like, put me somewhere. They were like, we need, when I was a baby, my dad said he would put the laundry basket in the bathtub and then put me in the laundry basket. Because he's like, then I knew you wouldn't drown and you were in one confined space.
Olivia, babies can drown in 2 inches of water.
Well...
Ah,
I was
good
probably
times.
a toddler. So I think they put me in ballet first.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you this?
I don't think so, no.
Well, I was in ballet and I did a recital, and apparently the curtain closed and I rushed out in front of the curtain and started bowing in front of an auditorium of people and said, "Thank you all for coming."
That's so fucking cute.
And then they had to pull me off. And so that was when I was like, I don't know, 4, 5 or something like that. And then I think they put me in theater because it was like during the day. I did like theater classes during the summer, shit like that. I did 3 different Shakespeare plays, I think. Fun. They were like modified kids plays. Sure, so it was like it was essentially like we need a place to put her in theater, and I loved attention. And if I recall when I was younger, when my parents would take me to like wishing wells or fountains or whatever, I'd made a wish. My dad said, "What did you wish for?" And I went, "I wished for a TV show." And he was like, yes.
This is definitely normal.
And so I guess I got a podcast, so hey.
Yeah, close enough.
It's the TV show of the modern world. And so then, I did it in middle school, and I was Belle in Beauty and the Beast. I believe I was something else in Annie, because I am not within the range of any of the characters, which such sucks ass.
Like Hannigan? I think you were.
No, I wasn't Miss Hannigan. I wanted to be Miss Hannigan. I think it was just an orphan. That's a mood. I think what it was is I had auditioned for Annie, but because I was, not as Annie, that was definitely not in my range.
She doesn't have the range.
What am I? I'm not a soprano. What's below soprano? It's been years. Yeah, I think I'm an alto. I'm probably an alto.
Cool.
And so like I literally 0 middle school productions were for my voice.
Sure, of course not.
Because people would be like, nah! And I was like, and I'm gonna start low.
Can we lower this by 2 octaves? Thank you.
Thank you. And so then when I went to OSHA, when I went to integrated, it was great because I got to do acting and singing and writing and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So that's my whole trajectory, my trajectory to hell. And I got off the ride, proverbially speaking, my junior year of high school, and that's when I went to culinary arts. So no more performing for me.
Which ruined your life.
Good.
Briefly. You're fine now, I'm sure. No residual trauma there at all. Anyway, so...
so I was going to say, what made you... I don't know. I guess you've talked about it. What made you decide to stop acting? Because we could talk about that.
So I did theater in college for 2 years. The thing that made me switch my major was twofold. First, I realized that it was much easier to market an English major than it was a drama major, which sounds like kind of... You know how you say, apples and oranges? It's like oranges and tangerines. Yeah, it's easier to market an English degree. All right. But, where's the bar, Brooke? So I switched into English because I'm good at it. And then I continued doing theater my junior year of college, just doing the shows and stuff. And in that time, I was also trying to, build up a film reel because what I really wanted to do was, screen acting. That was something that I felt like I connected with. And it was a collection of things that made me realize that I'm not compatible with the business. First of all, rejection shatters me. And this industry is all rejection. That's all it is. And I'm not particularly striking to look at. So,
oh,
and I'm not saying that in a way that makes, I'm not saying I think I'm ugly. I don't. I think that I'm generally an alright looking person. But, when you put me in front of a camera and try to take a headshot of me, it's I don't know, my head's kind of round and my hair's kind of thin. And then you see some of the other people who take headshots and then pay $500 to have them retouched, which I do not have. And it's yeah, I really don't have a shot here. But I did actually do some short films and stuff. And in the process of doing that, I started working as a background actor. And one of the formative experiences as a background actor that I had, I was on set in San Bernardino in June, and for anybody who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, San Bernardino is essentially a desert, and all of California is a desert, but it is a desert in the classic sense.
Yeah,
and
it's like a tumbleweed rolling around. The tumbleweed is trying to rehydrate, It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. And it was June, so woo. So I go out and we're doing a Renaissance fair themed show. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'd probably get sued if I did.
Yep.
But, Renaissance Fair is sort of the setting.
Yeah.
And so,
oh, no.
That's notably outdoors and not covered by anything.
And also so much clothing.
So much. Well, and I didn't have to dress in Renaissance period attire.
Okay.
Like, I saw people who were, and oh my god. But I didn't. I was just a tourist, I guess. So I was wearing, like, shorts and a tank top. It was 115 that day. And we worked for 10 hours. And I'm watching the lead actors, because I'm, like, inside of the camera. I can see them doing their scene. These people didn't get a break. They didn't get water. The one guy was in a full, like, head-to-toe suit. And I'm like, I can't do this. No way. No way could I do this. Like, you hear about, people becoming stars or whatever, and people are like, yeah, they were in the heat for 12 hours, and they didn't complain once. And I'm like, I can't do
will
that.
complain every 30 minutes.
It's gonna be everyone's problem if I am slightly dehydrated. Like, please. I'm obviously exaggerating.
I mean, but, like, also on the other hand, then you hear stories about, like, they complain about certain actors or actresses that are quote-unquote difficult to work with,
Right,
and I'm
yeah.
certain that some are, but, like, how many are just like, can I get some fucking water, please?
I haven't eaten in, like, 48 hours. Can I
and
have
they're like,
some
oh
food?
my god, this
guy.
bitch.
Yeah.
So,
It's a lot. And so all of it kind of came together, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should find something where I can stay indoors and be also happy. I like being happy. So I stopped.
wow, I didn't know about that shoot.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a long, long day. I had like 12 water bottles just kind of piled up behind me.
You're like in frame, and you're just like adjusting your body as you tuck them behind your silhouette. Holy
Sitting
shit.
on a table. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough time.
Jesus
but yeah,
Christ.
and I like doing it. It's just that the business is also so toxic, and I was coming across that more and more. And I realized that it just, like, wasn't worth it. Like, I can have this as a hobby and not have to subject myself to being constant. Like, I read a book. This book is actually fantastic if you want to be an actor. It's called Shit. Why do I always do this?
You fool.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. It's by Jenna Fisher, the gal who played Pam in The Office, and also other things. It's like a survival guide to acting, and I'm so sorry that I don't know what it is right now. I will look it up and then post it later, or I'll look it up right now secretly with my phone without Olivia knowing. Don't tell anybody.
Hey!
But yeah, she told this story about how when she first, started acting, first of all, it was agony, because acting is hard. And she, paints a very clear picture of what the industry is like and the things you have to do. And one of the things that struck me is that anytime did she gain weight, anytime she ate differently, she had to tell her agent. She had to call her agent anytime she gained or lost weight. And that is too much for me. As someone who is, like, already struggling with that aspect of my life, that would absolutely induce an eating disorder for me. Just, I know myself. And that, among other things, is just enough for me to kind of take a step back and go, maybe not. But yeah, it's complicated. And some people have it, and I admittedly am okay with saying that I just don't.
Yeah, I think also one of the stories you told me was you were like, it's one of those things where you could go and you could give, like, a really good audition, but if you look like the casting director's ex-girlfriend, you're not gonna get it. And I'm like...
Yeah, I mean, and that's obviously, like, an edge case, but, like, the thing that I keep hearing from actual casting directors, like, we had a couple people come in and talk to us, and, like, they themselves would say, hey, it's not personal. They could have any reason to dislike you. Like, it's not even your performance. It's just, hey, maybe they looked at you and they went, I don't like that guy's nose. And you don't, like, that's nothing.
What?
And that fucked me up. I was like,
oh my god.
I can't handle walking into an audition room and thinking, boy, I hope my hair isn't too curly today. Like, Jesus, that's so much pressure.
God.
And obviously the right answer to this, if you actually want to go into it, is you have to get to a point where you don't care. Like, you have to be okay with the outcome of not getting the part. You have to prepare yourself for, I'm probably not going to get this part because it's you against, 200 other people.
Yeah.
And, like, it's unsatisfying and it's rejecting and it's not my thing. Also, that book is called The Actor's Life, A Survival Guide, which it's excellent if you want to read it. It's also very bracing. And it was enough for me to be like, thanks, Jenna. I'm out.
Jesus Christ.
What made you leave? I don't think I've ever asked.
There was a lot of different conservatories, right? I didn't get into musical theater, which, like, part of the reason I will fully concede, my voice was not as good at the time as it is now. Like, I've spent a lot of time working on it, and my voice is a lot more controlled.
Right.
And I have gotten to know my voice and know what it can do and what it cannot do. So I think during my audition, I pushed too hard in doing something that was just not a good fit for my voice because I wanted to be able to sing that. And then, like, I don't think I picked the greatest scene in the world considering I can't remember it.
Right.
So, like, it just, like, wasn't a good audition, and all things considered, the people that made it into musical theater, I'd say there were a small niche amount of people that were, like, kind of, like, through the woodwork kind of people, but a lot of them were kind of career actors, even youths. Boy. So it's like, oh, my parents have been paying for acting classes since I was, like, 4, and I've had headshots since I was 5, and this, that, and the other. So, like,
which is crazy to me and is objectively toxic. Like,
oh, it's wildly toxic.
I know a lot of people who, like, are in theater right now who had that happen to them who would argue me on this. Sorry, you were abused. Like, and there were definitely some parents that were, like, really, I actually, I have somebody who he's doing acting now. He's doing exceptionally well. His mother was always very supportive. And I would say, honestly, quite frankly, in my experience with a lot of these people, because I went to school with them for 4 years, and I feel like I could comfortably say this, it is a pretty rare phenomenon for these parents to encourage their kids to do this without, like, their own backing and agenda in it. Because, like, I had my friend who, his mother's so wildly supportive. I'm friends with her on Facebook. She's so sweet. And she would, like, literally drive to the ends of the earth to, like, go to any audition he wanted or needed to go to. There's a difference between being supportive and pushing, right?
Yeah, like, and then, like, planning for your kids to do these auditions, or, like, no, I'm sorry, he can't come to that because he has an audition. Or, like, grinding them through, like, all of these, like, different hoops to, like, make sure they get this, that. It was very apparent when they, like, talked about how much they enjoyed acting.
Yeah.
If at the age of 16 you described it as, like, a taxing career, you're probably not in a great spot.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that made me decide to stop, is that I realized that there was just no joy in it. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, I was tired every time. Like, even if I got cast in something, I was excited by the rush of, like, being wanted more than I was by the actual desire to do it. And then, I would go to rehearsal and I would just be like, this is a chore and I don't want to be here. And that's, I think, a pretty goddamn clear indicator that maybe I shouldn't be doing it. So,
Yeah, I have much to say, and maybe we'll touch on it later, about, like, OSHA's entire shtick.
Oh my God.
But so I got into integrated, and I literally am so... Honestly, I feel like it could not have been a better fit for me, because if I went into musical theater, like pure musical theater, I feel like it would have been kind of limiting for me. I'm kind of one of those people that likes to do a little bit of everything. So the fact that I got into this program where I could do a little bit of everything, and I constantly had alternating variety because every semester they would change the classes, I felt much happier, I believe, than I ever could have been in musical theater just for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
However, I took some of these classes, and I think I liked nearly all of them. I was one of the few people in the conservatory, though, that I felt that way. A lot of people in that conservatory kind of feel, or at least felt, like this is the backup conservatory if you don't get into the other ones.
Yeah.
And if you go into it like that, you're not going to enjoy it.
Well, sure, of course.
Because, like, there are people who are clearly like, they're like, I literally only want to act. And so then they'd be in arts classes, like we did realism, we did sculpture, both of which I adored. And they'd be like, this is dumb, I just want to act. Or you'd have people that are like, I literally only want to draw, and they wouldn't put any effort into the acting.
What a pissy attitude.
And yet it's like, and we had so many amazing teachers that came from such diverse backgrounds. Like, I actually did enjoy the classes. My qualm I had, right, very good positive. I connected with all of my teachers very well. If there were any that I didn't like, I don't remember, which says a lot, right?
That's good.
So if I didn't like them, it was like...
And again, it was high school, so...
You know, and I actually am still connected with a lot of the teachers, which is neato.
Nice, yeah.
And it's just the people were insufferable. So, like, you know, again, it was like either the people who are like, I literally only want to do this.
Right, yeah.
And I care about nothing else.
It's just shitty.
And then you'd be stuck with them for like 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. And it's like, at some point, it's like, can we please fucking read and enjoy Streetcar for the love of God? You know, and they're like, literally, the teacher was like, hey, instead of reading today, we're going to watch the movie adaptation or whatever. And there'd be like a group of girls that are talking the whole last time in the back. I'm like, I know you are the same bitches that are talking about how all you want to do is theater. This is an opportunity to look at the performances and analyze them and analyze the quality of the adaptation for a screenwriting class. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, why
like,
are you even here? Like,
right? And that was the feeling that I got for a lot of the people in my conservatory. Unfortunately, in every year, there's like 2 or 3 different groups because like they split them up into like cohesive groups. Sure. So I think I was just given a really rough batch of people.
That's too bad.
And I know that because Milan was integrated with me, and she said that was like there was like 2 big groups for her senior year, and one of the groups was really connected. They were really close. They were all really good friends. They all really enjoyed the classes. And then her group was just a bunch of people that didn't like each other.
Jesus.
So it's really, you know, it's shot in the dark. And that's one of the things is like, you know, I feel like when you're in high school, at least when I talk to my sister, yeah, my sister knows a lot of people, but I think most public high schools are pretty huge. So like...
Yeah, our graduating class, I think, was like 550 people, so...
Right? And I think OSHA's gotta be... I think we're in the 300s, which is like not too small. It's that your conservatory is small, right? Mm-hmm. So like integrated had to be like 50 people tops in that class of my year, right? So it's like if you don't like half of them,
oh well,
it's a lot of them.
That's a whole bunch of people.
So yeah, unfortunately for me, and this is because I really cared about it a lot, and so like to be around people that just didn't appreciate it was upsetting. But also at that time period I was getting really into cooking because I kind of touched on it last episode. I had my whole eating garbage, and so I got really controlling with my food, and I was vegan. But as a result, my parents said, like, if you're going to do this, then you're going to have to cook for yourself because we can't make all these additional meals, which is like fair, all things considered. But I also had to pack all my lunches because, I mean, I was going to be at school for like 12 hours.
Yeah,
so
I feel like there was a better way to handle that, but
but I started cooking a lot more, and I had a bird in my ear of a friend who told me it would be a good idea to be a professional chef, and I was like, that sounds good in concept. And so I applied with like almost no experience in cooking whatsoever. TBH, I was making pretty garbage vegan food that I thought tasted good.
You convinced yourself tasted good.
It tastes exactly like cheese. No, it fucking doesn't. Sorry.
If it tasted like meat, everybody would be doing it. Shut up.
Yeah. The vegan food is so much better now, but like back in the day, it was definitely like, this is so good. You can't even tell.
If I
and
have
everybody's
to
like,
even look at a black bean burger patty, I'll tear my hair out. They're awful.
They're bad, right? And so you know, I transitioned into my whole culinary garbage, and like I guess this isn't about acting, but the reason I didn't go into culinary professionally is they described the hours to me, and they'd be like, so you're going to graduate with a degree in culinary arts. Then you have to work at a restaurant and work your way up the ladder in restaurants, which are already competitive and have a fail rate of, I think, 50%.
Holy shit.
The work environment is so insanely stressful. You've seen Ratatouille?
I have, yes.
That's actually based on a true story. There was a chef that had a 3 Michelin star restaurant, and one dude wrote a review that suggested that he might get the Michelin star removed, which, by the way, is like insane to get 1, if not 3, and was so stressed about it he killed himself, which is what Ratatouille is based off of. And so your peak of your career, if you like succeed maximally, minus being the Tyler Florences of the world, which is inconceivable, is working regularly 16-hour days where you're the head chef, primary accountant, food order person, manager, like all that. You're essentially like, you are leading an entire restaurant in a way that's so taxing.
Sorry.
So I had a chef who was the head chef at a 3-star Michelin restaurant for 10 years. And like, he said he just didn't want to do it anymore. It was too taxing, and he taught, which I totally get. Yeah. And I just looked at it, and it's, you know, it's the same thing kind of with you of like, do I want to sit in the hot sun for 10 straight hours without water? Do I want to work literal 18-hour days just cutting onions?
No, I don't.
Until I die. And the answer to that was no. And you also don't get paid very much. And there's like a ton of people I know who go into restaurant and so here's the thing actually I think is very important that we clarify. I don't think that inherently in itself is a negative thing if you love it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
you
if it's worth it to you, do it. But like,
yeah,
I think
it was not for us.
Yeah, it was not worth it to us. You know, it became a chore for me to do acting, so I stopped because that was what was right for me. But like, there are people out there who absolutely have the passion. Now, I want to caveat that by saying the industry has to change. Like, it is toxic objectively. Just because you have the stamina doesn't mean you should have to use it. Yeah. And just because you do right now doesn't make it right. Cool. Go after your dreams or whatever, but also be critical of your dreams. And
maybe, you know, these are two 22-year-olds saying this, but like, I think one of the most important things that I've learned in my young adult life is that you can love doing something, but if it's not worth the suffering, it's probably not a career, which is the way that I felt about acting and the way that I felt about culinary. And like, I enjoyed it and they are good hobbies for me. But like, if you describe to me a straight 18-hour day, I'd be like, no, it's just, that's not the fit for me. Versus if, you know, I mean, literally my grad school career, they said outright, you're going to be working 60 to 70 hours a week for 6 years. Do you want to do that? And my answer to that is quite honestly, yes, because like that is worth it to me. But that sounds insane to somebody that would hate that, right? And
quite honestly, it sounds like a fate worse than death to me. But hey, congrats on finding your thing, I guess.
Yeah, right? Like, everybody's got their own, like, and so I guess that's my, both of us went out of this where people explained to us what it would take to get to where we would want to be, and both of us went, nope. And just went,
so now I'm just going to be a podcaster and make all my money doing that. Right?
It's a rewarding, fun experience, and we're not going to have to deal with a toxic industry. I'm not going to think about it.
We're also not going to make any goddamn money.
Yeah. So essentially cooking and acting again?
Damn it. Back to the old grind. So I want to hear one funny story from you, because I'm sure you have them, OSHA being what it is.
Oh, so this was the thing. I was like, God, what the fuck do I talk about? I actually came up with one. So this is like, I only realized this after I graduated. When I described the degree of drama that occurred at OSHA, people were like, where the fuck did you go to school? Because I guess apparently what occurred at OSHA is not normal high school behavior.
It sounds like you went to school on the set of a soap opera.
Yes. So like a couple notable memories that I have is like everybody dated each other in culinary not culinary. Everybody dated each other and integrated. And it was like just one giant mixing pot of, man, you know, when you break up, we're all in the same classes.
The word I've heard thrown around about drama in particular is incestuous.
Yeah, because everybody's hooking up with everyone else.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one week, and this is by the time I transferred out of it, but hearing this story is just so fucking hilarious. So I suppose one of my friends, we'll call him, friends is generous, we'll call him Evan. And Evan was dating Monica. And so
Oh, I love this episode of Friends.
yes, Evan goes to Monica during conservatory class, in the middle of conservatory class, when they are going to continue to be together as a group for an additional 2 hours.
Okay.
Took her outside and said, I think we need to break up. Okay? And she said, why? And his reasoning was, I don't want to meet the love of my life while dating you.
What? Huh?
We were 17,
Oh my god.
but okay. And so
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't even, as an adult, know what that means.
I couldn't parse that if I studied it for 100 years. That's insane.
And so they come back in, and the entire fucking class is split down the center, with all the guys being like, well, you know, that's not wrong. And all the girls are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's just that bullshit.
yeah,
the high
but-
school bullshit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm taking her side. Fuck
Yeah.
that. That's
Fuck that.
insane.
And so, literally, so then Keith saw this occur and is also dating a girl in that class.
Are you coming up with these names on the spot?
Yeah.
I love this. Okay,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, so Keith saw this happen, saw the blowback, saw the drama, and went,
Okay.
that's a good idea. And so the next week, he did the same thing to his girlfriend in the middle of class.
With
outside.
the same words?
With the same line.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he said, I just like, I don't love you. And I think if I found my love when I was dating you, like, I don't know what I'd do. Blah, blah,
Break
blah.
up. That's what you do.
Well,
Fuck
that's what
off.
he did.
Okay,
So,
but like, what? What is this reasoning? This is
And-
insane. Like, obviously, it's correct that they broke up. Like, good, but also,
yeah, thank
what?
Christ. And so that was like the caliber of like breakups that happened. There was also so much drastic escalation in relationships. Like I remember there was a girl in my department, Rebecca, who was dating this dude who I knew because we all knew everybody, and she was insistent that they constantly celebrate their anniversaries. So
God,
they had a 1 week anniversary.
no.
They had a 1 month anniversary. Successively, they had a 1 month, like, every single month, because, like, what are we, like, I guess 17.
Yeah.
And this one is insane to me, because I've never in my life heard of this happen anywhere else. They had a 100-day anniversary.
What?
So I guess she wanted to have a 100-day anniversary, but he didn't because
It's stupid. Because
it's stupid. And so, but she wanted it and wouldn't say outright, hey, we should celebrate our 100th-day anniversary because, of course, we're 17 and we can't directly say what we want.
Your feelings? No.
So she suggested to him that they should repeatedly, like, things like, oh my god, you know what we should, like, do? We should, like, totally do this. And he's like, maybe. And she's like, but, like, wouldn't it be, like, really cool
Hilarious,
if we,
yeah.
like, did it? And he's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yes.
And so she essentially pushed his hand to celebrate a 100th day regular anniversary where they like walked on a pier and he like held up a sign. I don't know. It was some whack ass shit. But like that was just like, I don't have like one story other than these like little brief like dramatic escalations, or people would date for like 2 months and they'd be like, we're going to get married when we graduate. And
I
you're
dated
like,
someone like that.
yeah, I mean,
We were
same.
15. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I had that. Shout out to old me. Shout
You were
out.
So smart.
Oh, he gave me a ring. Did I tell you
You
that?
did. It makes my insides curdle.
He gave me a ring and my
awful.
brain went, I don't want this. And I took it. Because I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm in this weird situation. Okay.
I guess I'll just take it. Poor man.
So like those are my funny stories of like, it just heightened it up to like level 11. And like, I had to keep up with all these people when I graduated just to like see how things escalated and how they went. I kind of stuck with the integrated arts department because there's a whole slew of weird. There was a compulsive liar in the culinary conservatory, and oh god, it was riveting.
That sounds fun.
The other one wanted to punch me.
Yes, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yes, it was just like,
who did that punch?
Oh. I don't know if he wants me to talk about it on the podcast.
Okay. Just know that Matt punched someone. A story for another time.
Oh, I'll say it and don't say it's Matt.
I already did.
Okay, well, never mind.
It's fine. We'll get his permission, and if he's cool with it, we'll tell
yeah.
Man.
So it was just like everything was like really, really over dramatic all the fucking time.
Musical.
And so, like, by the time I was in senior year, I was like, oh my god, I'm so fucking tired. Like, I'm just, quite honestly, so tired. And then people would, like, try to cause drama, and I'm like, don't. Why?
You had the soul of, like, a 65-year-old. We're all dying anyway.
Yeah, or,
Please
like...
don't talk to me.
Just let me die, please. I just want to graduate and get out of here. So that was my high school experience. There was not enough money on this planet that would make me live through high school twice.
No, I would never, ever, ever do it. And, like, I didn't have a bad time. But, yeah, it's just, things are better now. Yeah. Things are just better.
Yeah.
You know...
So, one funny story?
Is it time?
It's time!
Okay, so this has all been, let's see, a 50-minute warm-up to the actual main event. The reason you're here, haha, how we've bamboozled you.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So I'm gonna start at the beginning, which goes a little bit beyond. We're gonna get a little esoteric. So, as someone who was aspiring to be a film actress, I immediately did the first thing that everyone does, which is I subscribed to Backstage.com. This is not sponsored, even though I wish it was. And they're gonna be glad they didn't sponsor us though, because this is not necessarily a positive review of their services, and it's not their fault. What happened? I got exactly one job, unpaid, obviously, in my time looking for work on Backstage. I had a little bit of extra luck on some of the other sites, but Backstage was where I started. I uploaded my subpar headshots, and I filled in my experience. Can you hear the air quotes? And I applied for pretty much everything that I could that applied to me. And generally speaking, the synopses were bare at best. The ones that weren't, I didn't stand a chance for. And then the female parts usually looked like girl 1. And then it said, hot, blonde.
Are you serious?
A lot of them were, yeah, absolutely.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Jesus.
They would more and more. They're getting a little bit more tactful with their hot blonde descriptions, where it's like is conventionally attractive, at least a double D, and it's like. So imagine my surprise when I come across one that actually isn't that way, where it's a student film through a community college that I'm not going to name because I feel like the more identifying information I give. Oh, but I really want to post the actual thing.
No, post the fucking video. Don't be a coward.
Yeah.
It's also if you Google your name, isn't like in the credits?
It's in there, like it's not hidden. Yeah. So
Let's go. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah. It was a short film. I'm not going to say the school. The director's name was. And I'm not going to give his last name either, because it's not in the YouTube channel. Whatever, it's fine. So I see it. It's a student film, so I kind of know what I'm setting myself up for. The sides are printed in the application, which is rare and nice. So I look at them. They look okay, but it's a student film and I need footage. So I apply. I get a message back from the director and writer, as it happens, and he's like, hey, super interested in, you reading for this part of, like, the girlfriend. He didn't say that, but, like, it's the girlfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, we can meet at this library. I'll rent out one of the conference rooms, and it's the library at the school and whatever, which sounded cool and above board, and it was way better than meeting at his house, which is something that I've seen happen.
No, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, fuck off. So I go, I get made up and stuff and bring, a copy of my headshot and resume or whatever. He didn't need them, as it turns out, which is always cool, because the headshots are definitely not free. But
you only get to reuse it, right?
Yeah, it's fine. But, whatever. Anyway, so I go in, he hands me the entire script, which is highly unusual. So we do a read-through of the entire thing. Of the whole thing, which is about a 12-minute short film. Like, it's not long, but
also, you're not really in a ton of it, so... Oh, I guess you read the whole script then.
We read the whole thing. Yeah, no, like, he and his like, not co-director, but, like, I don't know what he was to... but he was in it. Like, he played one of the parts, but I know he was also in the class, so I'm not really sure what that was. But they sat across from me and, like, alternated reading the male roles, and then there was a girl who, she had actually gone to Cal State Fullerton, and she was reading for the other female role, because there can only be two. And so we were reading our respective audition parts together, which was cool, and she was really nice, and I still follow her on Instagram. She's fantastic. She was the shining moment of this whole thing. So we finished the read. We do it again, all the way through, which is weird. And at this point, I feel like I should have been like, no. But, I want to give these people the benefit of the doubt. They're students. They're in a class. I don't want to, like, jump the gun and be like, no, you're amateurs. Like, I want to give them...
Also, like, it's one of those things where this is one of those stories where, like, your gut was right the whole time.
So I liken this experience to the weird... Okay, so this is bad, but, like, there's a metaphor of abuse where if you put a frog in boiling water, he will jump out because the water is scalding and he can feel it. But if you put a frog in cold water and then slowly heat it over time, he will boil to death. Because he doesn't feel the minute changes in the temperature of the water. And that is kind of what happened here. To be fair, like, God. I wanna preface this with, it could have been a lot worse, given how
Brooke,
men are.
Brooke,
no.
Do not.
Like, no, I want to say that, like, this sounds like it's going in a Me Too direction. It's not. And I think that's one of the only things that I can say in his defense is that he was, if not a perfect gentleman, something resembling one. So, I really don't want people to be mean to this guy.
Don't be mean to him. If you attend to see the video, do not be an asshole. Like, they're students. Students.
He was learning, and honestly, I saw some of his later stuff. Vast improvement.
Okay.
And
don't be mean.
Don't be mean. This was, I believe, one of his first attempts at doing something of this caliber. However, so we read through it. By the way, it is important for me to note that at this point, I now have a full picture of what the short film is about.
Oh, boy.
It is about a young man whose girlfriend has been attending a church, I guess? It's not really on the page. And he gets upset because she hasn't been spending enough time with him, and then they instantly break up.
Because relationships.
Right, yeah, relationships, whatever. And, like, it's implied that they're living together, which, anyway, it's fine. So he goes, like, looking for her and finds this church, and it's a sex cult. Like the ones that are just on every corner. And he joins the sex cult, and then, like, finds his girlfriend and then defeats the cult leader and inherits the sex cult. And
now you might be thinking to yourself, didn't she just say that this is a 12-minute film? Yes.
It's a student film that has to be played in front of his whole class. And so I'm rating it, and there is a scene that is described as an orgy scene. And I'm like, hey, not for nothing, but, are you actually gonna do an orgy scene? And he's like, oh yeah, but we're gonna like fake it, you know, we'll just do like some close-ups on body parts and whatever. And I was like, okay. And in my head I'm like, that sounds worse. But I trust you for some reason.
Why? Why?
So we finish the read, we talk about it, he talks about scheduling, it's fine, and he immediately gives us the part on the spot.
Oh.
Which is yet another giant red flag. So I take it because I'm feeling lucky at this point, right? Like I've been applying to shit for weeks, months, whatever. Nothing, not even responses. So I get this guy and I'm like, cool, I have a part. I just need
this will go in my reel.
Yeah. I'm thinking it doesn't matter if it's bad. If I perform what I have to do well, then I'm good. Right?
Yeah.
So I go home, we start, talking about scheduling and whatever, and I don't even know where to start. Jesus Christ. The first day of shooting, we start in, September, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, first day of shooting, I arrive at this guy's house. He has told me beforehand that if I don't feel comfortable coming to, some rando's house, that I can bring someone with me, to just feel more secure. And I thought that's kind of a stand-up move. Nice, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Turns out, my dear didn't have a crew. And when I say he didn't have a crew, I mean he had no one. He had himself and one of his actors who clearly was a tech guy, but, was roped into doing this because was his friend.
Oh,
and had no interest in playing the part. He would help with the camera stuff and help with the lights, but when it came time to do his role,
it's painful. It's like pulling teeth.
It was tough, and he's not an actor, and it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But oof. So
big oof.
So we go in, and I brought Christian because of course I did, and he immediately puts us both to work setting up lights. So it's a student film. That's still a huge no-no. You don't hire actors, especially actors you don't know, and then
also are not paying.
Right, who you're not paying, who you're feeding small bags of Oreos, and then order them to put up your lights. That you just don't. It's bad form.
Yeah.
We helped because we're whatever. This guy's. He doesn't have a crew. Obviously, this is not something that he's terribly prepared for. Fine, whatever gets us out of here faster. Oh ho ho, how stupid I was. So, we set up, and we do the first scene, just the first, not even the first scene, but the first shot, for an hour and a half. Now, when you're a multi-million-dollar studio,
yeah,
do whatever the fuck you want. You are not paying me, sir. I want to go home. You live 30 minutes from where I live. I don't want to do this for an hour. Do you know
was
how many
it
times?
refilming, or was it trying to set up the shot right?
So it was a combination of all of it. So he didn't super know how the camera he was using worked because it was rented. So or it was new, I don't remember. So he's trying to adjust the color, and he's trying to fix the lighting because he was using both a combination of natural light and film light. And then it was so
that's one of those things. Okay, so I guess benefit of the doubt, he doesn't do a ton of filming and this is his first thing, but I've only done a handful of film stuff, and the first thing you do is you set up the shot without any actors in it, and then you just fine tune when they arrive.
Right. So the thing was that, like, it's just common practice to get the shit set up first. And he didn't do that, not just for the first day, but ever. During our entire filming process, not once. And, like, it took easily an hour just to get the first, like, incarnation of what he wanted up, and then he had to adjust it on the fly because it didn't work. So it was amateur is generous. It was painful to watch. And also painful to work with. I did that first scene, which, by the way, was about 4 seconds long, probably 25 times. It was outrageous. So at some point, I'm a little bit pissed off. Like, because I'm doing this for free.
Yeah.
And, like, and as I'm reading the lines, as I'm saying them out loud, I'm realizing, blood draining from my face, that it's just poorly written. Like, it's... I'm reading ahead and I'm saying the lines out loud and realizing for the first time, for some reason, that, like, I can't say these words in such a way that makes it sound like a human being would say them.
Oh, no.
Which is disheartening. So we wrapped the first day, and I am sort of glossing over it because it was just kind of a lot of the same. We wrapped the first day 5 hours later, which is a lot. He also didn't feed us. And we immediately, like, went to fucking Arby's or something, which tells you how hungry we were. And
oh my god, Arby's is, like, always the last choice.
It is.
It's like, oh fuck, there's an Arby's. All right, well,
I'm hungry and need sustenance, so that counts, I guess. Yeah. And we left and whatever. And so this continued. We would film over the course of, like, every weekend, and then, like, after school if we could swing it.
Yeah.
And I can't describe to you, like, I got desperately ill. I had, like, the flu, and up until the last second, he was insistent that I show up. And I was like, I'm vomiting. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll cancel. And, like, it was just bizarre. It was just odd behavior. And it wasn't even malicious. I think it just didn't occur to him that we wouldn't shoot. And, like, just stuff like that. And, like, they didn't have a makeup artist, so I was responsible for my own makeup, which I had never done and never said I could do and wasn't prepared for at the time. So, like, there's a scene where someone, the cult leader actually has a ring that was absolutely bought at Hot Topic. 100%. It is a skull, like, entire finger ring, and it has, like, a blade at the end. Dulled, of course, but, like, bleh. Anyway, so he has this ring, and he's supposed to slice my cheek with it. And the makeup effect that he used to portray blood was, I swear to God, he leaned over my face and emptied a packet of ketchup onto my cheek.
No! No.
I wish I was joking, Olivia.
No. You
can absolutely tell. Like, he's like, it's gonna be dark, it doesn't matter. And I'm like...
No.
Yeah, it's, Yeah.
You know, there are recipes for fake blood online.
There absolutely are. He could have just bought fake blood, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, we got to shooting, and someone was like, do you have fake blood for this scene? And he just, like, would freeze and go, oh, no. And then everybody would be like, okay, so what are we gonna do? And he's like, I'm just gonna use ketchup, it'll be fine. And, like, the whole shoot was very much that energy of, like, I didn't anticipate this going wrong, I just assumed it would work out. Which goes beyond, like, amateur, I think, for me. I think that it was just... It felt at the time very lazy at worst. At best, it was unprofessional. And, like, he was wasting our time. And, like, he had these friends who were cool with just hanging out, but, like, most of the other actors and the people helping were, like, acquaintances at best. We were strangers sitting in his house while he dicked around. And so, like, obviously people started to get a little tense. So, we continue this process for literal months.
Oh my god.
And I think one of my two favorite things we went to, in Newport Beach, there's, like, this bridge that connects to an island, I guess, and he wanted to do a baptism scene. So he's like, we're gonna go to this beach in Newport Beach.
Oh my god, I love this scene.
It is insane. So he's like, it's a baptism scene where the main character gets baptized by the cult leader, and he's sort of, like, inducted officially. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we're gonna go to the beach, and we park, and he's like, okay, so the bridge is over there, and I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, so I'm going to set up on the bridge. We're going to get the shot from there, and then we're going to go down to, like, the land underneath, and I'll shoot them jumping off. Have you ever seen a baptism, Olivia?
So my understanding of a baptism, and you can tell me that I'm wrong, is when you go to some kind of balcony, bridge, pier or something, and you launch yourself off full force into a large body of water.
Well, damn, all right, I guess I'm wrong. So I thought maybe that baptism meant dunking a guy in water gently as the waves caress his body. No,
It's been a while since I've been baptized. Can you give me a little slack here?
yeah.
It's been a while since I was launched off a pier at the age of 2.
I remember at my christening, people were like, whoa, this is weird. Anyway, so I'm like,
I don't know why, I just had this launching style in my head of, like,
just over the shoulder chucking an infant off the side of a bridge.
Is that what?
God.
The baptism story? Oh my god!
Yeah, so I'm like,
Jesus.
hey, do you think it's gonna come across that this is a baptism if it's just 2 dudes jumping off a bridge? And he was like, yeah, because we'll say it. And I'm like, yeah, but...
I'm sorry, stop. What?
He's like, because, like, apparently the cultist, like, says some rite of passage about, like, I hereby baptize thee or some shit, and, like, then they just, like, fall sideways off of the bridge. And I'm like, this is super dangerous. There's a sign literally 5 inches from your face that says, no diving, my friend. And he's like, yeah, but I do it all the time. And I'm like, cool, that's you. These are 2 other people that you are now demanding do this for the sake of your art. And he's like, it's fine. And I look at the bridge, because I'm standing on the ground, safely away from any high points where can push me off. And
can you imagine
no.
while you're having this argument, he just fucking pushes you, and he's like, that's the shot.
And there we have it, guys. Yeah, so, like, I'm looking at this bridge.
Flailing midair.
I'm looking at this bridge, and you know how you can see, based on, like, kind of the barnacle area and, like, the water line where the tide is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the pillars suspending this bridge, and not kidding, 7 feet at least of water, like, beneath the water line of what high tide would be. We are not at low tide. We are at ultra low tide.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, do you see that? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, it's low tide, dude. They're gonna get hurt. And he like has this moment of like, should I stop this? And then fucking the 2 actors are like, whatever, we'll do it. And I'm like, you're gonna lose your fucking legs.
Is it 2 boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's sexist, Olivia. Anyway.
This is why their insurance is higher than ours. That's what I'm saying. You don't want it to be higher? Stop fucking doing shit like this. This is all I'm saying.
Stop jumping off of fucking bridges. Anyway, so I at this point I wash my hands of it, which I guess means that I'm complicit. And sure enough.
In the court of law, yes.
Yeah, man, if they had died, it would have fucking been on So I'm standing there hoping to God that nothing happens. And I really did think that they were gonna bail. I thought they were gonna chicken out. And no, I'm standing there, and they did it. They both just jump off, and you can see it in the short film. They jump off of this bridge. You can see where the water line is. And they were fine. But oh my God.
Holy shit.
Also, it was fucking winter. At this point, it's November, and they jump off a bridge into the ocean, and like it was the most insane thing I'd ever seen, and it was like so ill prepared, and illegal.
Yeah.
And so
Jesus Christ.
later, you know, I
Chuckles to
it's
self.
all coming back to me. There's so much. Later, there was a scene that I was supposed to shoot, and I hadn't read kind of the stage directions, which is admittedly my B.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where I have to be nude. And no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that, no. So I go to and I'm, like, expecting kind of a fight on it, and I'm like, hey, what are you expecting for this? Because this is insane. And he was like, well, we can just put you in, like, nude-colored underwear. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, if you're just gonna put me in clearly visible underwear, you might as well just put me in, like, clothing. Like, what is the point of this? And I'm like, there's no point in this being in the short film. I'm not doing it. And immediately, it's just like, yeah, okay.
Like, which is what we were talking about before we started. I said, that's such a bizarre thing. And you went, well, what's worse? Him, like, forcing me to do it? And I said, you know, if he forced you to, like, to do it, if he was a dickhead, he's a dickhead, right? But the fact that he wrote it in and then with zero fight was like, yeah, no, we can just take out that whole scene. Why put it in?
Right, why was it even there?
What?
I don't know if he just wanted to see some titties, or, like...
Or maybe, like, for his art, he was like, this
Right.
would make a beautiful scene.
I really do think that it wasn't, like, a weird pervy thing. I mean, it ended up being one anyway, even though he didn't intend it. But, like, I truly think that he was trying to go for, like, an Eyes Wide Shut kind of thing, where he, like, had artful nudity or whatever.
Yeah,
And
guess what? Student films aren't often artful nudity.
yeah. Like, it's just... It's uncomfortable for everybody, and it's hardly ever done well. Don't.
Yeah.
If you're writing a short film, just don't. Like, there's no reason.
There's already enough happening in this short film,
There
TBH.
was so much happening. So later, Christian actually couldn't make it to one of the shoots, and at this point, I have established for myself I don't want to be at this guy's house alone. I won't do it. At first, it was like, oh yeah, well, I'll take him to, like, the first view, see how I get a feel for it. Now I refuse openly to be alone with any of these people because they make me just so uncomfortable. Yeah, just fundamentally so. And so my friend Graham, actually, he
Shout out to Graham,
who is the real MVP. This is one of his favorite memories, by the way.
I know, you said Graham was like, I'm so fucking ready to go to the shoot.
Yeah, he's been hearing about this the entire time, and I've been sort of explaining to him just the clusterfuck that is this shoot. And he eats it up. He is into it. And so at the first sign of me needing someone to go with him, he volunteers.
I shall go with you.
Yes. And so he comes with me. And, you know, it's like the same shit for a while where he's, like, helping set up and whatever.
Yeah.
And so it becomes nighttime pretty quickly. It's about 11 p.m. and we have one more thing to shoot. And it's actually that scene that I told you about where the guy slices my face in the dark.
With the ketchup.
With the ketchup. So we go to this guy's house, and it's actually a different house, which is bizarre because we had already been to a house, and he's like, this is my dad's house. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I now get to jump to a bunch of conclusions about your family's life. Cool. So we go to this house, and whoa, I totally bumped my mic. Sorry. So we go to this house. And he's like, the room that we need to go to is down the hall, all the way down the hall. It's the door at the very end. I'll meet you there. So Graham and I go ahead of him because we're idiots. And we open the door, and what we are encountered with, we turn on the light. What we're encountered with is a room about this. It's probably 11 by 11 at the largest, probably closer to 10 by 10. Clearly meant to be a small bedroom or an office.
Yep.
The blinds are like those straight lattice blinds, and they are hanging off of the window. It is completely empty, except for the stained carpet, a stained mattress that is leaning up against the wall, and a towel draped over said mattress.
Nope.
So Graham and I look at each other with the exact same mask of terror, and we know in that instant that this is the room in which we are going to die. And as this telepathic communication is happening, the lights go out.
No! No.
And my hand, I swear to God I'm not making this up, my hand went to my neck to prevent him from strangling me. And I'm sorry that you didn't know this, but like, damn, you scared the shit out of
I'm laughing. It's one of those silent laughs.
And so the lights go back on. And Graham and I look at each other, and we're just, he sees my hand around my neck, and he's like, oh my God. And Sean, like, we turn around really fast, and Sean's like, oh yeah, just sorry, I wanted to see how dark it would get in here. And then he shuts the door behind him and goes away. And Graham and I, we like look at each other and we're like, holy fuck, oh my God, we're gonna die here.
We live another day.
And like, we didn't leave. What? Why didn't we leave? So,
oh man, you know what I would do? I think actually for the bit, just before the scene starts, he's like, oh, can you get off your phone? You're like, yeah, I'm just texting literally everyone that I know that I'm here and I'm sending them the address. And he's like, haha, okay. And I'm like, yep, just everyone that I know.
Everybody I know, also my dad's a cop. Which isn't true. I realized for the joke, everybody needed to know that my dad is in fact not a cop.
Yeah.
So Sean comes back and brings in a lawn chair. And,
oh God.
And so I sit in this lawn chair and he's like, so the scene is, you're hiding in this safe house. And I'm like, this is a safe house? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, this is not a safe house. And,
this is an unsafe
this
house.
Is an unsafe house. And he's like, yeah, so you're, like, living in here. And I'm like, oof. And he goes, so the guy is going to come in and, like, find you. And he's going to, like, walk up to you and then scratch your face and you're going to scream. And I'm like, okay, why am I in the dark? And he's like, you're hiding. And I'm like,
oh, excellent direction. Thank you.
Right. And I'm like, don't you think you're just making it harder on yourself? And he's like, well, I mean, I don't have a safe house and I don't want it to look like you're in a bedroom. And I'm like, you know what, whatever, fine. And so what his idea was is that he wanted to put a light, like a spotlight, not really a spotlight, but like a floodlight almost outside the door to this room. And then when the door opened, you could see like this cut out like an outline of the guy, like, and it's all spooky and whatever, and then he approaches and, like, cuts my face or whatever, but, like, the camera was rooted in one position, so I'm supposed to just sit there and let him walk up to me, and then, like, allow him to cut my face, and also my direction was, okay, so don't move too much, because if you go even a little bit to the right, you'll block the entire camera, and if you go to the left literally at all, you won't be in frame. So I have to stand perfectly still while this man threateningly approaches me and slices my face open, which was, I think, probably my finest performance to date. And like,
oh man,
I just, it's fucking insanity. The whole thing is fucking insanity. And like, the last day that we filmed was a pickup day where we had to, like, do some stuff that we couldn't do the night before because it was, like, midnight and everybody's like, we're going home.
Yeah.
And what he had done the previous night was he wanted this effect where, like, the light was flooding through the blinds and, like, was casting these blinds on our face.
Yeah.
Which, like, looked not good, but he did it. And so he was like, we'll do it in the morning. And the girl who was opposite me, the one who I love, was like, hey, are you sure this effect is going to match during the day the same way it is at night? Because, light and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'm sure it'll work. It'll be fine. And we're like, okay, but, like, please make sure that it does before we show up. So we come the next day, and he sets up the lights and opens the blinds, and sure enough, it doesn't fucking work. Because it's not dark. And this girl, this woman who I love and would die for, lit into him with the fury, the likes of which I have never seen. She was like, this is completely unprofessional. I have driven here now 45 minutes during rush hour to do a shoot that you called, and now we can't do anything because you wouldn't set up the scene beforehand and let us know. This is outrageous, and I have never been in such an unprofessional environment doing short films, because I guess she had done quite a few of them. Yeah. And, like, just laid into him for, like, 10 minutes about how insane this entire process had been. And he had this, like, yes, ma'am, kind of demeanor the entire time. Because I think she was, like, 5 years older than him. Yeah. And he's just like, sorry, I'm sorry, and she's like, do you have anything you can do with us today? And he's like, no. And we fucking went home. We just fucking went home. God. And we never did get the shot. It was insane. And that was the whole thing. And I think the way that I'm going to end it.
No, you missed. Oh, no, you got that one. Never mind. You did it all. You did all that I remembered. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, well, and there's one unfortunate bit that if you watch the thing, you'll see that, like, I didn't have a topless scene, but there is a scene where I'm supposed to take off the robe and be naked, and they faked it by having me wear a tank top with, like, the little spaghetti straps put down. Yeah. And it looks chillingly real. And I hate it. I hate that is on the internet forever. It is, my name is attached to it, and I hate it. But I think how I'm going to end it is the thing that I think bookended this entire experience is Graham and I were talking about it, and we went back to the backstage page where, you know, the whole thing began. Yep. And I looked and I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. He actually made like an iMovie cover for the short film, and it's just like clouds, and then it says in golden lettering Paradise, which is the name of the, obviously. And Graham's looking at it.
You've released it.
I mean, I'm gonna post it, obviously.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I'm not gonna post it, but if you want to go looking for it, it is called Paradise, and if you can find it, congrats.
Paradise. That's all you need.
Go. That's it. And also my name, which you know. So, yeah. I'm looking at this page, and I show the cover to Graham, and I'm like, oh my god, look at this. And he's staring at it with this massive grin. And I'm like, what? And he shows it to me, and he's like, read it. And it says, parties. And I'm like, God, if I had taken 5 minutes, I could have avoided all of this, because my grammar ass would have been like, nope, that's it. That's the end. I can't do it.
So, on your film reel is the incredible short film Parties.
And that's how we refer to it now. It's Parties. It absolutely is.
Oh my god.
It's utter insanity. It's...
You said he's improved?
Yeah, but like, again, where's the line, right? Like, it was
Brooke, you're too nice.
Well, and like, his other short film is better. Like, it absolutely is better. But, you know, he's got a long way to go, is all I'm saying. And I don't want to be mean, because, like, everybody has to start somewhere. And if he loves it, then, like, go for it, I guess. But also, like, Buddy's got to improve on his, like, organization skills, because it was easily, I did probably a dozen more short films after that. Far and away the worst experience I ever had. And, like, by a measure of leaps and bounds, it was worse. And the people that I worked with later that had also never done it did the research on how you set up a short film set and what is and is not, you know, proper procedure for doing things. Yeah. And, like, did it right. And I don't know, like, there's not really an excuse for him to have not done those things. So, yeah, it sucked. And, like, improve, up your game. But also
intuitively, like, it's just seems objectively shitty to ask people to help you set up and not have it figured out in advance. Like, I literally get self-conscious when people come over to my house early and I ask them to, like, help me clean up a bit.
Oh, right? Yeah, like, it wasn't even like a, hey, do you mind doing this? It was like, okay, so the lights are over there.
Yeah.
Like, okay. What do you expect me to do with that? And like, yeah.
The actress that you worked with, did she do any of that? Did she tolerate any of that?
She did, and she was livid. Yeah, that first day she was like, I am just I don't even
Why
know
did
what
she
to say.
continue to do it? Was it
I
like
think for the same reason I did, because we both kind of felt bad for him. Like, he had to ask for 2 extensions because he couldn't finish in time. And, like,
Yeah.
we were like, this is for a class. If we leave now, he literally won't be able to do it. Like, he'll have no way to finish this entire process.
So you're nice.
Yeah, I guess I was nice. And, like, now I'm roasting
This is
him
what
on a
you get
podcast.
for being nice.
Truly. Oh, yeah, and the orgy scene, by the way, was exactly what he described it as, which was a guy laying down shirtless with an arm on his left and a leg on his right. That is what it was.
Orgies?
Yeah, you know orgies, right?
I've been to plenty orgies, and what I'm familiar with is arm on chest,
And
leg
on belly area. Yeah, that's the ideal orgy for me.
Oh,
I'm so
man.
sorry if you watch it. I apologize in advance.
It's so good.
To give you an idea of what it is, when it came out, my friends and I had never seen The Room, and my friends and I sat down and watched The Room, but our palate cleanser, I guess, was Pardees. So we watched that first, and then we went into The Room. And I'm not sure which one was worse.
It's pretty horrible. It's pretty
awful.
bad. And my favorite part is like the way you described it. There's no way I could deliver these lines and sound like a person is so apparent in that first scene. You can see that you're struggling with it because you're just like, all right, I'm off, and he's like, have fun.
Ugh,
and you're like,
it's awful.
and you're like,
I don't even
what is
ask
that
what
supposed
he
to
means.
mean?
Yeah, I'm just like, you know that the church needs me, which is such a bizarre robotic line that has no, like, it has no basis in anything. Anyway, you can watch it for yourself.
It's so rough.
It's awful.
But it's so good. I've seen it multiple times. Heads up. Pardees.
You've seen it multiple times?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I love it.
I'm so glad.
Oh, I love it.
A few weeks ago, I thought maybe he had deleted it because I looked for it, and nope,
Yeah.
it is still there. So as of today, if you look for it, I'm sure you will find it.
Is it still Pardees?
It isn't, and it never was. Even in like the short film itself, it was never Pardees. It was just in like the weird promotional thing that he put on backstage. It said Pardees. So no,
Did you
it
use
is
Backstage again after this, or you used other stuff?
I continue to use Backstage infrequently, but I usually use like LA Casting and stuff like that, and it was not much better, but better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I feel like LA Casting hasn't been updated in like 20 years though. Like just the physical format of it looks like an old forum from like 1990.
Jesus Christ.
Let me just rip everything that I ever had any connection with when I was in high school. Or high school, college. Yeah, it's a wild ride. Thanks for listening to that garbage. I
That
hope
was so
sincerely
excellent.
that you don't watch it, but I know that if you people are anything like me, that
It's
you will
so good.
you will search
It's
it
so
out for
good.
hours until you find it. And it'll
I
probably
might.
be worth it.
I might post it.
I want to see if it's possible to find it with just the name, my name, and his first name. I want to see if that's possible. I'll look
right.
it up later.
Let us know. Tweet us.
Yeah. If you find it, let me know because I don't want to like go the entire rest of my life wondering how many people saw this thing. I will actually. What I will do is I will track the number of views from today forward
Yeah.
and see how it changes. Wow. Okay. Do you want to do the spiel?
Oh, hey, welcome, it's,
Wow.
Okay, we have
Damn,
social
I'll do
media.
it then.
No, we have social media. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at TTKMeUp. We have a Facebook, but who cares? We have a website, ttkmeup.com, that's linked to both our store, where you can get stickers and hats and blankets and posters, and to our Patreon. And we are doing a special little promo with our Patreon. If we get to $100 a month, we will do an AMA.
We sure will. Wow.
We have an email, ttkme, I think it's ttkmeup at gmail, right?
Yeah, ttkmeup@gmail. Yes.
Yes, I was proud of that one when I made it. ttkmeup@gmail.com. We accept submissions for our Campfire Horror Stories series.
You got it. You got it, man.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I had a stroke like 3 times during this. We love to get submissions. We love reading them. We just haven't gotten any in a while. Sorry.
Yeah.
We might have to do a positive episode after your next heavy hitter because I will be post physics GRE exam.
Oh no.
And I'll just be like,
Hey,
the Amazon is on fire. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all the announcements that we have.
Yeah,
Yes?
we're fine, I'm sure. Also, you will know that you have the right thing if it says paradise, and then the thumbnail is going to be a picture of that very ring that I described. Easy to spot. But I will say that I just looked it up, and I did not find it with the search terms. You know, maybe people are wizards. Also, maybe I'll post clues. Maybe it'll be a Twitter game.
Yeah,
where
use
I'll,
Twitter.
post
It's like
clues.
today's clue. Is it Vimeo? Is it YouTube?
I think part of me really does want people to see it, but I don't want him to know that I, like, link it.
Yeah, don't link it directly.
Yeah.
But we'll find a way.
What did I even...
I'll, like, accidentally tweet it out for, like, 4 days and then be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize I posted this. And then, like, unlink it.
I'll have to download it. Oh god, why am I doing... Anyway, okay, bye. I love you.
I love you all. It's been real. And I hope you had a great time. Hey, do what you love and love
Do
what you
it.
do.
Yes.
Even if it's suffering, if there's
a
something...
point.
Suffering to a point with reward.
Yes.
Like
And
money.
don't accept people treating you like garbage and almost murdering you.
Your gut is literally
Your gut is
almost always right. There have been 2 times in my life that my gut has been wrong. How many times did I listen to my gut? 0.
Just never. Never.
I've never
Always
listened to my
should.
gut. You always should. All right. Well, we love you.
Sure do. Bye.
It is written, the meek shall inherit the earth, but not on my watch. I am King Asilas. I wasn't born to be a king, but America needed something democracy could no longer give her. And so, like a chess master, I made my moves with anticipation and bravado. This is not just my story, nor simply about my rise to power. This is a story about our world and the monsters that control governments. What happens when the monsters cannot control me? The Rise of King Asilas. Listen on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. Visit theriseofkingasilas.com.